Good afternoon, everybody. Glad you could join us for the fifth round of the New Dimension Racing TBO Challenge 2020 from Kyoto North. I'm Peter Butcher, and I'm joined in the commentary box today by Eoin Harmon. Hi, Eoin.
Hi, Pete. Welcome along, everybody. It should be another fantastic day of TBO racing.
Absolutely, it should. We are on round 5 of 6 of the main championship. Then we'll have the non-competition, non-classified 6-hour endurance race from Aston North in a couple of weeks' time. Today, though, we're at Kyoto North, which is a custom configuration making use of the infield section of Kyoto National in Live for Speed. And as you can see from this quite wacky track map, we're using a custom pit lane as well. The start finish line is on the infield. You can see that in the background where the drivers will line up and head down towards a double left-hand hairpin followed by 2 right-handers onto the seldom used part of the oval in the clockwise direction before they cut back onto the infield of Kyoto National, making this a 3.1 kilometer 1.9 mile track. We're going to be running low winds today as always in this series, and qualifying will begin in around about 6 minutes time, although we expect cars to be on track in about 3 or 4 minutes time. Then we'll start the 16 lap sprint race at 4 o'clock UTC and the feature race at 16:45 for 27 laps. Today's race director is Jonathan Prevost from New Dimension Racing. You might hear his voice occasionally on the stream as he brings us the live race control messages for virtual safety cars, red flags and such like. Thank you everybody for joining us for this one. We know there's an exciting F1 race happening at the moment, but yeah, great that you could be along. Today we are running the standard balance of performance for the cars that we started off with in the season. The XRT will run its 2% air intake restrictor, the FXO will run 6% air intake restrictor, and the RB4 will have nothing. So, before we get going for qualifying, let's quickly run down the driver standings after round 4. Pauli Peltikangas for Sidus, otherwise known as Botsy, leads the way by a healthy margin ahead of Sean Lee from Air Attack Newsroom Racing. But then it's really close between him and Nika Pantola. He is 4 points behind for Subaru Technica International, and if you look at that leaderboard you can see that there is an FXO leading the way, followed by an XRT and an RB4. So we have in the Drivers' Championship a representation from 3 different teams in 3 different cars, which is great stuff. Joni Katila in his FXO after a not so great session last week in race 2, Owen, if you remember, where he rolled the car down into the double left-hander before the steel straight. That was quite an exciting race, but yeah, not good for Joni Katila's campaign here. Oscar Hardwick, P5, Carolus Motodutis, P6, Sandro Chanturia with a great effort last week. He drags himself up into the top 10, well inside the top 10, P7 right now. Isaac Price, after a few rounds away, has dropped to P8. Then it's Daniel Balla for Race Green in P9, and Michael Malak rounds out the top 10. Ayubel Hanounis in P11 and Jared Mead in P12, Gabor P13, Jeff and Jacob in P14, and Patrick Linker, the last driver that is able to lift the Drivers' Championship trophy in the TBO Challenge 2020, in P15. The other drivers are mathematically incapable of winning the Drivers' Championship with 2 rounds to go. Over in the Teams Championship, it's a familiar story. Team Sidus out front by quite a margin now, ahead of World Class Lions, Subaru Technica International, Race Green, Born to Race, Air Attack Newsroom Racing, and Chad Esports, who led the way early on, Owen, down in P7. Magenta WRT P8, LLM down in P9, Ford Rally Esports in P10, Angry Angus Racing doing well in P11, Master Race Car likewise P12, and those 12 teams are the only teams that are mathematically able to lift the Teams Championship in 2 rounds time. If Sidus can extend their margin by any more, then they look like they're storming headfirst towards winning that one, which should be great for them. Owen, I believe we have cars waiting at the end of the pit lane, so maybe you want to tell us what's going on track as we prepare for the start of the 2-shot qualifying here, and maybe you can explain how that will work.
No problem at all, Pete. So basically the cars have to wait 2 minutes in the pit lane before the 20-minute session begins, and you can only leave the pit lane twice in total, but that gives you the opportunity to do 2 hot laps back to back or do one out lap, one hot lap, pit, and then resume the process, an out lap and a hot lap. So it gives the drivers plenty of opportunity to flex their muscles in a way that suits them, and it gives us a lot of opportunities to see different driving styles in the 3 different make of cars. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, we have cars lining up at the end of pit lane. They're just waiting for the lights to go green, and yeah, we'll get underway for this 2-shot qualifying session, which should be awesome. Really looking forward to this, of course. So yeah, we'll end up seeing a flurry of cars initially, and then fewer going out later on in the session. But we know that quite a few of the drivers like to leave their attempts quite late. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Around about 30 seconds left before pit lane will open, and we'll see the first drivers out on the track. I think this is the first time, Eoin, that Gum Garage's Lucas Wilson hasn't been the first car at the end of the pit lane. We have a Ford Rally Sport car waiting.
Yeah, I think they loved giving Lucas a bit of pressure at the very start of the session. See who can make it out first.
Absolutely. Here we go then. Pit lane is open and we are qualifying. As all the cars thunder out, and they'll try and find themselves some room as we begin this session. So, a reminder for everyone who is unfamiliar, we have some updates for you regarding the success ballast that some of the drivers will be running. Pauli Peltikangas for Sidus leads the way in the Drivers' Championship, and therefore will be running 25 kilograms of extra mass in his car. Positioning is his choice, he can put it wherever he wants in the car, but yeah, 25 kilograms of added ballast for Pauli Peltikangas. Sean Lee will run 20 kilograms in his XRT. Nika Pantola 15 kilograms, Yoni Katila 10, and Oscar Hardwick, after a great result last week, pushing himself, keeping himself up in there in the Drivers' Championship, will run 5 kilograms in his RB4. So we've got a whole bunch of cars out on the track right now. So let's have a look, see who's out. We've got Sean Lee, Eoin, going for an earlier attempt than he would normally go for.
Yeah, I wonder what the reason behind that is. He's been very proud to stick to his last lap heroics, but today he's changed his mind. So is there something he's not telling us?
Absolutely, I'd be interested to know. I think as he crosses the line to start his first hot lap, I think he maybe doesn't want to leave it as late. I think he might have stressed himself out potentially with how late he was leaving it in the previous runs. So opting for a different strategy.
Him, yeah.
Oh no, definitely not. So yeah, this might be the first time that some of the viewers have seen a race at Kyoto North. It's a very technical track, especially the final few corners that head onto the oval. Oval section. It's really weird actually. And coming off the oval also, because you have this really high camber, and then you immediately end up on the flat for the infield, which is could be unfamiliar for some people.
Yeah, indeed, and based on whether you're driving the front wheel drive or the wheel wheel drive, you'll want to have your power distribution set up perfectly, so you're not understeering or oversteering wildly into that corner and possibly going off the circuit.
So drivers are able to set 2 laps on the bounce if they want to, depending on whether their tyres are good or whether their sector times are okay, or they can opt to leave the pit lane a maximum of twice, as we will get our first lap time now. That's Jeremiah Zanella, who aborts his second run, but sets the benchmark of a 1:28.59. Dennis Magic in P2 right now. He's going for another lap straight away. He'll see what his sector times do and decide whether to abort or not. Sean Lee, he's immediately jumping up to the top of the times there with a 27.4, some 1.1 seconds ahead of Jeremiah Sinella's FXO time there. And Nika Pantola with his first attempt. That'll be disappointing. He's 5 seconds off the pace with his first run. He will not be happy with that. He's going for another one straight away. He'll see how this lap develops and decide whether to continue or abort this one. But yeah, it's going to have to be a good couple of sectors, else he is going to be struggling to get inside the top 10. Jamie Tressida there setting a decent time at 129.6, goes P8 in his RB4. And Renault
And
Coots.
Sean Lee's teammate Renault Coots has gone on top of the leaderboard with 127.06 for AirTech Newsroom. So we have double trouble there.
Right, I didn't realise Renault Coots was driving for Aerotac Newsroom. That's news to me, but there we go. Cool that those two have managed to get up there. Sandro Chanturia with speed that we're very used to. He's run quite wide through the first corner there on his second attempt, so I don't know whether he's going to finish that one, but anyway. Yeah, really nice lap time there from Sandro. Not running any ballast on that car, of course. We need to wait to see what Pauli Palskangas is going to manage. Not only is he running 6% air intake restriction in his FXO, but he'll also have 25 kilograms on board. And that's going to hurt with all the hairpins here as Jeremiah Stanella finishes his second run and goes P4. Oh no, he's starting a second run. That was not a good first corner, and he will undoubtedly abort
Yeah, it has to
that
stop.
run. So that's his time. That's his time sealed. P4 for now. Here comes Jamie Tressida for Puran Moto. Up to start finish. Possibly to start another lap. Very deep into turn 1.
It's trepidatious there. He's given up on it, unfortunately.
Andre Araujo is in P10 at the moment, and I believe he's on a lap. It looks like he's on a lap. So we'll see what he can manage. João Paulo there, going P18 with a 133.94. Bozidar Velenov for World Class Lions, P3. He slots in ahead of Sandro and Jeremias. Very few FXO times on the board so far. I wonder where everyone's gone. Where's Ioni Cotillo? Where's Pauli? Probably leaving their
I see
laps till a
Gabor
little bit later.
Dior is in the opening corner. He's just headed onto the oval section now.
Kidoke, we are watching Gabor. So this is an outlap for him, and we'll see what he manages. Expecting good things. He's not got any ballast on the FXO, so he should be one of the faster ones, you'd expect. No ballast for Gabor today.
Sector 1 is approaching for him now. Under the bridge. Looking okay so far. It's as much of the artificial grass as he can. And now into the next sweeping chicane before an uphill left-hander. Going flat out, I think. He's not lifting, but he touches the grass. And that's going to cost him a little bit of time, but his tires are going to be filthy heading into this long, really impatient right-hander before the start-finish straight. And he's going to understeer again. Yeah, that's really costly. But I hope he can still make it into the 127s.
He certainly
No, he's
will.
going to miss it. He's going to miss it.
Oh wow,
No.
that's a shocking lap there from Gabor. Yeah, if you get wide through the first part of the infield, it just compromises your entry for the parabolic right-hander. And he's run deep again. He's going to abort. He's going to have to
Yeah, it
abort.
has to.
Meanwhile, while we were watching that, Daniel Balla in his XRT, he's gone P5 for race green, splitting that FXO group. And Radek Lutsky there with a good lap as well. He's just crossed the line. He goes P5 now, knocks Daniel down a peg. So XRT, XRT, FXO, FXO, and the top RB4, Eoin, P17 right now.
Oh my goodness, that's very concerning. We need to see that change for the RB4 drivers. And it does with Nico.
There we go. Thank you, Nico.
Good. Thank you, Nico.
Much better attempt there, and yeah, I don't see Nico's teammate Adam Brown on the server, Eoin.
That's a shame. Adam was very strong, rocking him, but his luck abandoned him. So I think he's been one of the least fortunate drivers this season.
Probably
with some of his
Adam busy watching
instance.
the Formula One.
That's very likely, yeah.
Yeah, probably. But everyone here is doing God's work. They've decided that the TBO Challenge is better than the F1, which, well, I think it is.
Yeah.
Renault Coots is out for another go. Not used to seeing him driving an air attack skin, so that's going to be new to me. Seeing two of them going around. Renault normally drives for Air Support, which is kind of a sister team, I suppose, to Air Attack. But yeah, he's joining in with Sean for this one.
Carlos Madrid has set his first time for Last Lap Motorsports and goes P3. That's a very strong effort.
Patrick Linker. 0.26 off pole with that attempt. And that's impressive for the RB4. Nico pushed down to P7 with those laps that have just come in, with Carolus going P4 and Linker going P2. Nico's down to P7. Is there an Oscar Hardwick out on track?
There could very well be, yes. Don't think Oscar is around, but I'll keep an eye out.
Okay, so yeah, maybe he won't be competing in this one. That'll be a shame because he's P5 in the championship right now. But yeah, a bit surprising if he's not here. We've been very used to seeing him. Renault on a very aggressive lap. Let's see what he can manage. Teemu Soini there in the RB4 goes P10. That's a good lap from Soini. Ahead of Daniel Balla, Jared Mead. Yeah, ahead of Gabor even. So yeah, I'm sure Soini will be pretty happy with that one. Good lap for World Class Lines. 26 times on the board and just under 10 minutes to go in the qualifying session. We're watching Renault Coots as he comes around the final corner to set what will be his second lap time of the session, and he does not improve. But Pauli Paltakangas, while we were watching elsewhere, he's gone P2. I think that was his first attempt actually, unless I missed that earlier. But yeah, we have an XRT on provisional pole, an FXO in P2. That FXO's got 25 kilos on it, so that's impressive. And Halinka P3. And just emerging now is Sandro Chantura for his second attempt. His first attempt puts him P7 currently. Apparently Renault Coots' laps, Owen, were within 100th of a second of each other. So that's consistency, if ever you saw it.
The master consistency. Yeah, I didn't quite spot it, but that's fabulous. Well done.
Yeah, that's really impressive. So Renault Coots is throwing down the gauntlet, especially to his teammate Sean Lee, who we've seen win the feature race at South City in round 2, I think it was. Yeah. Sandro is doing some tyre warming as he heads up to the parabolic corner, and we'll see how he does. He was very strong in quali last week. I expect to see a similar performance from him. No pressure to this very talented FXO driver. Cross start finish, then he comes into the double left-hander. Very short run down to turn 1. It's going to be very well, yeah, we don't really know what to expect. We've not seen many race starts at Kyoto North. The last one I saw was in the Open Endurance Cup with the GT2s, and yeah, I can't remember how it went. I think it was okay. Sandro, really wide line. You have to have a wide line here. Almost kissing the wall before you throw the car into the infield again. Kicks up a bit of dust. That shouldn't be a problem, as one of the World Class Lines cars behind takes a little bit more grass. Up to split 1 underneath the New Dimension Racing and a Chromo Tyres bridge. Sandro Chanturia is on for a good lap. Let's see what he can do. Renault Coots provisional pole. Pauli Kangas for Sidus P2 at the moment. Patrick Kalinka for Born to Race P3 in his RB4. Sean Lee P4. Carolus Motodutis P5. Bozidar Velanov, the highest placed World Class Lines driver, P6. And this man, Sandro Chanturia, who's very wild through the Parabolica. That's a wide line. I'm not sure this is going to be an improvement for him. Does get back to the apex on the exit though. Wasn't really expecting that. Let's see what he manages as he comes up to the start finish. Will it be an improvement? It is P5. That's a good effort.
Yeah, I thought he laid down a bit too much rubber in that final Parabolica, but he's held on very nicely. Good job.
Carolus is on for another lap. Let's see how he does in his XRT. You haven't seen an XRT lap. So yeah, this is his final attempt, and he's aborted. So I don't know. Maybe he just finished his next lap. But anyway, he's P6. Velanov is in P7, and he's still on the track, so he's trying to improve as well. 31 times. Good turnout for round 5. A good representation from all the cars. We have 4 RB4s, but we have a majority XRT for this one. Majority of drivers electing to use the rear-wheel drive car, as Velanov runs really wide on the entry, but gets the car back for the exit. Joni Katilla's gone P2, Eoin. Look at the margin between P1 and P2. The XRT and the FXO very close. Remember, Joni is running some success ballast, however. But yeah, Joni Katilla goes P2, 300ths of a second shy of Renault Coots' provisional pole time. But Joni has one more lap left to set in the final 5 minutes of the qualifying session. And yeah, as expected, very wild tyre warming from him.
Yeah, certainly not surprised there.
Yeah, if anyone can knock Renault Coots off the top step, it could be Joni Katilla. He's got less ballast on his car than Pauli, and Joni's quick when he needs to be, when he's not doing whatever this tyre warming is.
He's free, there's no one really around him, so he can carry on with his exuberance.
Left it late in the session, so
less than 4 minutes to go. Everyone should have set at least one time if they intend on going twice. Otherwise, we'll be leaving it extremely late.
So here comes his lap. Let's see what Joni Katilla for World Class Lines can manage. Joni has a lot to make up for after last week. He lost a chunk of points and he needs 2 strong results in both races today. And the best way to at least start on that is to get a good result in qualifying. Looks like a good first sector so far. Very tricky corner coming up. You can see the banking that then levels off, and then you have an off-camber entry into the infield. He takes a lot of grass there, cuts the curb quite considerably. And then this tricky left-hander, he'll have grass on the left side tyres, runs it wide but uses the AstroTurf, and yeah, that was nice. So let's see how his split is. It's good. Let's see how he fares on the rest of the infield. So smooth on the steering inputs. It's almost like he's had some training from Isaac Price. Through the first part of the chicane, through the second part of the chicane, looks good. Doesn't want to take too much grass here because he needs to get back over to the left for the Parabolica. Runs onto the AstroTurf. Really early commitment, which means he can get down to the apex so early. That's fantastic. That's a great line. It's probably the best that we've seen. Runs out, touch of grass on the left, but here comes Joni Katilla to the line. Will it be quick enough to take provisional pole? It is by a considerable margin. 3 tenths over Renault Coots. Great lap. Speaking of great laps, Pauli Kangas needs one. He is 4 tenths behind Joni right now, but he's coming across the line. Let's see if he can improve on his time. That's a no.
No,
I think he
that's
improved
unfortunate.
by 100th. Yeah, he improved by
Yeah, very
100th on
slight.
that lap, so a very, very minor improvement.
His teammate Gabor Gior did improve to P6, but that's not really enough for Team Sidus. But Sean Lee is going to go for one more lap, I believe, with a minute 10 to go.
So yeah, he did his. Well, I guess it must have been Renault Coots we were watching at the beginning of the session,
That's correct.
because Sean Lee, in classic fashion, has left it to the last minute to go out, literally. He has enough time, just about enough time to get across the line, so no chicane cutting necessary this time for Sean Lee. I think Sean's the last car out on track, in fact. So we'll see what he manages. This is a warm-up, of course, with 30 seconds left. Sean will cross the line to begin his second flying lap. And what will it be? Let's find out. Needs a good braking for the first double left-hander, using quite a lot of the rev range to use the engine to slow the car down. Effective use of engine braking. Not too wide an entry for the first part, getting the car quite sideways, which means he can't get on the power till a little bit later. Drops down to the almost the apron, and then back up the banking before turn number 5. Lots of grass on the
Oh,
entry,
he's taking
lots of
too much
grass on the
grass.
exit. Yeah, this is going to be tricky, this next corner here. Watch this. Yeah, the rear steps away and then he can't get the grip on the exit. Just about gets away with it, but that looked a bit scrappy. Not sure whether this will be an improvement, but let's find out. He's still got a lot of lap to make up some time, perhaps. Gets down to the apex nicely there. And now the sweeping chicane through the middle of the infield. And then just one corner to go, the Parabolica.
Keeps his foot down.
Ooh, a lot of angle. Having to use a fair bit of opposite lock to keep the car in a straight line through there. Looked good though. Don't know
Yeah,
whether
it's
it was
beautiful to
fast.
watch.
We'll find out right now. Was it fast? It was. He goes ahead of Patrick Klinker, and Sean Lee will start on the second row.
Yeah,
I
that
do
should
believe
give
that's
him
all the
confidence.
cars.
Yeah, that's everybody.
So that concludes qualifying for round 5 of the NDR TBO Challenge 2020. We just watched an onboard lap of Sean Lee where he improved from P5 to P4 with a last minute attempt, as ever. Joni Katila will take pole position ahead of Aerotech News and Racing's Renault Coots. Then it's Pauli Peltikangas with the maximum success ballast on his car, our championship leader, P3. Alongside him will be Sean Lee. Then on row 3, it's Patrick Kalinka and Gabor, followed by Sandro Chanturia, Karolis Motijoutis, Bozidar Velinov, Nika Pantola, Radek Lutsky, Daniel Balla, Pavel Lutsky, Michael Malik, Foncesa. Then we've got Timu Soini, Jurgen Weber, Jeremiah Stanella, Yari Katila, Jared Mead, Ayub El Hanouni, Katal Krorkin, Magic, Steve Martin, a name I haven't seen before in the championship, Serafimov. Apologies if he has been on the championship before. I haven't seen that name competing. Welcome. Down in P25. Then it's Andrea Raujo, P26. Rej LeBlanc in P27. Jamie Tressida, P28. Sigitas Sakis in P29. David Balla, P30. Simonas Talkavitius in P31 and João Paulo, our 32nd and final qualifier for round 5. So we'll have a few minutes, Owen, before the start of race number 1, 16 laps sprint race around Kyoto North. That'll start at 4 o'clock UTC, which gives us a little bit of time to talk about what else is coming up on Sim Broadcasts. If you haven't already, you should definitely sign up for Master Race Cars Formula E inspired E-Challenge Race. That's happening on the 12th of December. There's still some spaces to sign up on the LFS forum. And as ever, here's the trailer. Enjoy. Master Race Cars E-Challenge on the 12th of December. Sign-ups open on the LFS forum. Go and take a look if you fancy driving in an underfueled FOX race on the masterfully created New York E-Prix layout by Master Race Cars Michael Malek. The Team Rat Racing 2020 Championship came to a dramatic conclusion on Tuesday, and as a result, we aren't streaming on Tuesdays for the time being. So the next action here on Sim Broadcasts will be next Sunday for the return of the NDR TBO Challenge, round number 6, the final round of the main championship from, where are we next week? We're at Fernbay Green. So a race from Fernbay in the TBOs. Should be exciting. The season finale. Team Sidus look in dominant fashion, but yeah, there's still a chance that they might have a shocker here today, and World Class Lions might be able to pick up the pieces to take over the lead in the championship. Let's have a look at the championship standings, shall we? In the Drivers' Championship, leading the way with 1,640 points, 112 points clear, it's Pauli Peltikangas, then it's Sean Lee, Nika Bentola, Yoni Katila, Oscar Hardwick, who we don't think's here today, so could lose out on a whole bunch of points, and that will be good for Karolis Motojutis and Sandra Chanturia. Isaac Price, likewise not in attendance, likely to drop down the order further, giving opportunities to P9 and P10 position Daniel Baller and Michael Malek, maybe even Ayub and Jared Mead, looking to pick up the as many points as they can get their hands on. Gabor in P13, Jeff and Jacob P14, Patrick Kalinka P15. Those are the only drivers able to mathematically lift the trophy in the Drivers' Championship in the 2 rounds now that remain, today and next Sunday. In the team standings, leading the way by a comfortable margin of 545 points, it's Team Sidus. Then it's World Class Lions, who look in well set to pick up P2 with a good result here today, maybe even P1 if, as I mentioned, Sidus have a less than optimal day. Subaru Technical International, they're a man down today. Adam doesn't appear to be around, so Nico will be the sole driver for that team. They're very, very close to Race Green, not many points, maybe around 200 points away from Race Green in P4. Then it's Born to Race in P5, Aerotac Newsroom Racing with a bolstered lineup here today, P6. Chad Esports P7, Magenta WRT P8. Neither of those teams looking likely to score points today because, well, none of their drivers are here. That's a shame. Last Lap Motorsports P9, Ford Rally Sport P10, Angry Angus Racing P11, Master Race Car P12. Those 12 teams are the teams able to still mathematically lift the Teams Championship trophy after next Sunday's race. How long have we got left? 3 minutes before the the formation lap for the sprint race, Eoin. How do we see that going? How do we see the start going? Who's best placed? We've got Patrick Linker in P5. Do you reckon he'll have a great start?
Yeah, we saw him at Rockingham. He went in between 2 of the cars on the front row and he got himself set up for the double apex left-hand turn. So I'd say he's best versed. He knows what he's doing. Very similar first sector here as we saw in Rockingham. So I'd say the drivers who were there that round should be well positioned. And then the usual class above with Peltikangas, Katila and Sean Lee. I'd say they'd also maintain position if the RB4s don't swallow them up.
Yeah, I think Patrick is well set to get a great start, as you say, but there's a very short run down to turn 1. I believe he'll be starting on the outside, so he might have to cut back to the inside for that corner. While the drivers grid up, I want to give a shout out to everybody who has been supporting us here on Sim Broadcast. We recently passed 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, so thank you very much for that. That's great, and if you aren't following us on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe there. You'll get all of our video on demand of our streams that will appear there. If you, for instance, today have miss a stream by accident, that's okay. You can go and watch them on YouTube. We're also highlighting videos now on Twitch, so if you're not already subscribed or followed on Twitch, please do all the good stuff there, and Facebook and Twitter, of course, as well, for whenever we go live and any events that we're running. You can get all the information there. We really, really do appreciate your support, so thank you very much to everybody who has showed their support for us since we've been doing this. We've enjoyed a great year, and we hope that we can bring this year to a fun conclusion for you all and bring you some exciting things in the new year. Speaking of the new year, we have a couple of things on our calendar. We have the BF1 League, which will be concluding on Sunday, January 24th. So we still have 4 rounds remaining of that, which are going to be broadcast here on Sunday the 13th, on Sunday the 27th December, and 2 races at the beginning of January. And and we have some announcements coming up very shortly for what's going to be happening. We're going to be announcing a couple of series at the beginning of next year at some point soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We are moments away then from the start of the sprint race here, 16 laps of Kyoto North. The driver's just enjoying the briefing right now, and we'll get underway with that just as soon as we can.
And just a little bit of news emerged from the qualifying session. Ford Rally Sports number 80, Jeremiah Zanella, performed 3 laps when he was only supposed to do 2, and his punishment is a drop of 1 place. So he's down in 19th as opposed to 18th.
Seems like a pretty lenient penalty.
Yeah, it is a very soft one, all right, but I say he won't mind too much.
No, absolutely not. I mean, 1 place, he's driving an FXO, so unless there's any RB4s or XRTs behind him, he won't mind that too much. But yeah. Drivers are readying up, Eoin, and we're about to go green for the formation lap here in round 5 of the NDR TBO Challenge 2020. I can't wait. Last time out was amazing. I hope for similar stuff here today. Rockingham was quite a treat, wasn't it? It was fantastic to be driving touring cars there. It was one of the most enjoyable broadcasts I've been a part of. Seeing a real life track in use it really was. It was something really different than what we're used to, especially in cars that are, for all intents and purposes, very like their real life counterparts. And just waiting for Eoin Catilla and Jamie Tressida to declare their readiness, and we'll be on our way. Here we go then. The drivers are on the grid for the formation lap, and so there'll be 1 formation lap with the apologies there for the chat messages. Some drivers getting quite enthusiastic already.
And compared to Rockingham, there's almost no space. You're going to be swamped by the grass if you dare turn a few inches to the right or the left. So they better take care on their start line. It's formation lap at Kyoto North.
Great to see a bumper-sized grid, 32 cars thundering round for the formation lap, led by none other than World-Class Lions' Eoin Catilla. Just a reminder of the success ballast in action right now. Pauli Peltikangas will be running 25 kilograms, Sean Lee 20, Nika Pentola 15. Eoin Catilla, the car on pole position, had 10 kilos of success ballast. Just shows you how quick he was on that lap. Renault Coutts doing a good job to be there in P2. And Oscar Hardwick not in attendance today, should have been running 5 kilograms. So only 4 drivers on the grid will have the success ballast for the start of this 16 lap sprint race. as Eoin Catilla leads the cars round to the grid. The first time that I have ever seen a formation lap on this track, so it's going to be great. Hopefully all the drivers remembered where they needed to be on the grid. We're on round 5. We should be pretty well drilled on this procedure by now. We've done it. We've done 8 rolling starts or 8 formation laps. This is the 9th of the season.
Yeah, I think we suffered at the worst Blackwood. That was a bit unfortunate. Delayed the broadcast by a few minutes and a few red faces. But I think the drivers know by now.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Eoin Catilla will line up on the left side of the grid, just doing a little bit of tyre warming in case he's sat on the grid for 20 minutes while everyone sorts themselves out behind. Eoin lines himself up. And
There's a 5 mile an hour wind or 8 kilometers per hour, so it could be tough.
That's a decent amount of wind. That could actually
coming back wind on the Starfish.
That could actually have an effect. Look at Patrick Linker there. Look at the angle of his car, the Born to Race RB4 there in the background. There we are at the back of the grid with Elmo. And it looks like we are set to go. All the drivers just pulling into the final grid positions.
Nearly.
Yeah. João Paulo just needs to pull forward a couple of boxes and we'll be ready to go here.
Tressiter is nowhere near his box. He needs to move forward. That's it.
The lights are coming. All the cars are in position. Well done. The red lights are on. That's a jump start for Renault Coots. Whether he'll get a penalty for that.
He's stopping in time. Here's Linker.
Yeah, Linker, what a start. Immediately up to the front. That was a great start, great reaction. Eoin Catilla down to P4. Contact at the front. Linker will have a run and he's already clear. P5 to P1 in one corner. Eoin Catilla trying to go round the outside of the 2 Air Attack Newsman racing cars. They're going to be a moving roadblock as Pauli Peltikangas makes full use of Eoin getting trapped. And he's up to P4 already. We're running open config, so we'll only get updates of positions at the split times. Don't worry about it too much. Everything will sort itself out as we head round the lap. Loads of cars filing through the chicane now. Looks pretty clean so far, so a good clean start here. Patrick Linker leads the way in his RB4 ahead of the 2 Air Attack Newsman racing cars, Renault Coots and Sean Lee. There's Pauli Peltikangas and Eoin Catilla, our poleman, down to P5. So importantly there, Owen, Pauli's managed to get ahead of Eoin.
Yeah, that's very true. And the Air Attack newsroom drivers have a plan, I'm sure, if they're 2 and 3. They can attack and defend simultaneously.
Yeah, Helinka already under lots of pressure from Coots. Take it away.
Yeah, Coots was hanging onto the apex as best he could, but Helinka had it covered. Very nice driving from the Born to Race car.
That 1 of 16 complete. Helinka's gone deep. Renault Coots has made... Oh, he's alongside. That's a great effort. He's going to be on the outside for the next double right-hander. A bit of contact, but Helinka's fine. That car can definitely take a bit of a beating. Renault Coots trying to get past wherever he can. Sean Lee's under a bit of pressure from Pauli right now. But yeah, the top 5 really close. And there's a bit of a gap behind to Carolus. Or not really, I suppose they're all line astern here, aren't they? Closest car, Sandro Chanturia. Looking up the back of Radek Lutsky. Radek driving the orange Jägermeister XRT. But yeah, Chanturia making up a good number of positions here. P10 at the moment.
Yeah, and then Nico Motola used his RB4 factor to good use. He started 10th and is now 7th.
Look how close Renault Coots is to the back of Halinka now. I think he might go for a send. He's gone to the outside. Halinka's gone defensive. What's going to happen here? Compromised line for Halinka. Renault's
He's going to
compromised
recover
his
it.
middle part of the corner, but he's got a tight line on the exit. It's not going to be enough. And he does in fact drop a wheel on the grass. And let's see what he can do into the double left. He tried a move here last lap. Halinka's gone defensive again. He's not happy that he's having to do
Oh,
that.
he's in trouble. He's going to concede position. Great pass by Coots round the outside. Got it
That
done
was
nice and clean.
stunning. I've not seen that move done. Around the outside into that corner is very, very tricky, but great effort. Fastest lap for Eoin Kotila in P4, but there's really nothing between these top guys at the moment. Halinka drops to P2, Renault Coots up to P1, and now he just needs to keep his head down and drive away in this race before his teammate or any of the FXOs catch him up. But it looks like we're having a bit of pack racing. That's Radek Lutsky side by side with Daniel Balla. And yeah, Daniel getting ahead of him. Then there's a Sandra Chanturia train. Michael Malek's got past Gabor and Daniel Balla. Sorry, not Daniel Balla. Gabor and Jared Mead, I think. Although Jared and Michael side by side, and that's Jari Kotila that's fancying a go. Gabor all the way down to 15th.
Oh dear.
Gabor getting very close and personal with...
Oh, Halinka blocked Sean Lee's line, but Sean has actually kept the traction going. Halinka understeers with more contact. Sean Lee onto the grass now. And that's Jari Kotila into P2.
Eoin up to P2, it's okay. Across the line, Renault Coots with the fastest lap as he kind of drives away from this lot. But yeah, Eoin's already up to P2. Sean and Pauli going at it, and Pauli might have a run here. He's going to be on the outside for the next right-hander. What's Carolus going to do? Carolus drops in behind, and Sean manages to maintain it. Oh, but good exit from Pauli, even with that ballast. Sean just a little bit wild, and he's already lost the place before the next corner.
And Patrick Linka's confidence has abandoned him, but he may have regained some of it with the dive on Metajritas. Not quite able to hold on.
Not quite. Now he's got Mika Pintola for company.
Yeah, the Subaru is going to go for him, but it may not happen until the final parabolica. This is definitely a single file sector of the track. Very, very hard to overtake unless you make a mistake. Though. Yeah. Since he got... Yeah, he's actually lost all of the traction. And Pintola's through. Yeah, as I was saying, Halinka, once he got overtaken for the lead, I think he wanted to play it safe.
Velenov's going to fancy a go as well. Yeah. So after an amazing start, Halinka P5 to P1, he's now down in P6 and he's under threat of losing even P6. Sorry, he's in P7 now, my mistake. He's under threat of losing that to the world-class Lions car of Bozidar Velenov behind him. We know that FXO's fast, and yeah, indeed, look. Halinka's opened the inside. I wonder if Velenov fancies a sniff at that. Yeah, slightly later on the brakes, and he's going to go for it.
Yeah, that's clean. At 75 meters, they pretty much went bang on the braking zone, but it's the confidence of Velenov getting the job done there.
Yeah, Eoin Kotila set his sights on the Aerotac newsroom car, just ahead, as you can see, of Renault Coots. Eoin, after getting pole, dropped to P5, but within 4 laps has managed to get himself back up to P2, mainly thanks to Halinka shaking things up at the front. Yeah, I keep thinking about that move around the outside that Renault Coots did to get past Halinka. That was great stuff.
Certainly was. Battles all throughout the track. Just one driver is kind of stranded at the back, and that's How Paulo. But otherwise, every driver has a chance of improving their results if they can keep on the tarmac.
Speaking of keeping on the tarmac, we still have 32 cars in this race of the 32 that started, so that's good.
Oh, and Sakis did go wide, so LeBlanc has overtaken for P29, I think that was.
Yeah, Sigitas in the yellow and blue XRT will lose a position at the split line to Reg LeBlanc. There he goes. Reg driving for Angry Angus Racing along with his teammate Jared Mead, both Canadian.
Back up the front, Renault Kutz's lead has grown to 1.89 seconds over Catilla.
We've got an
And he's
absolute
gonna-
frenzy going on. Sorry to interrupt. Jurgen Weber's in here. Who else is here? Katal Krorkin, your fellow countryman.
Cahill, yeah.
Cahill.
Cahill Crorkin.
How do I
Cahill.
pronounce that?
Cahill.
I'll let you pronounce that. I can't do that. He's on the outside of. Who is that? Is that
It's Liski.
Lutsky? Okay, Pavel Lutsky. Driving a very different livery to his teammate. That's why it put me off, I think. But yeah, looks like he's going to have the inside before sector 1. Yeah, FXO.
Liski has better traction.
Exit, yeah. Gabor's made up a place on Yari Catilla. Gabor up to P13.
Cahill made a mistake in the right-hander, but thankfully, for his sake, Fonseca wasn't close enough to benefit.
Indeed. Helinka's now lost out to Daniel Balla, so Helinka down to P9. That's a disaster for him. And Sandro Tantura is looking racy behind, so before long he could be outside the top 10. Meanwhile, Motodutis has made up a place on Sean Lee at some point in the lap. Now Sean Lee is under pressure from Velenov. So yeah, Sean Lee, this race hasn't gone so well for him so far. As we approach halfway, Renault Coutts looking strong out front. The gap to Yoni, I keep calling him Yari today. The gap to Yoni is coming down a little bit, but not really as much as Yoni needs. Pauli's on good pace too. He's kept a good gap to Carolus. Let's see if Carolus can chase that heavy FXO. But yep, Sean taking a little bit more of a defensive line against that FXO of Velenov. And you can see Velenov with the tighter line. Sean runs wide, gets a slide. This could be a move. Yeah, Sean really struggling to get the rear in check on that FXO. They'll be side by side through the corners where you mentioned cars shouldn't be side by side, but they're doing a good job so far, and Velenov backs out of it before the final part. Now, let's see, can Velenov make his signature move into turn 1? We've seen him do it before on Helinka, as Helinka loses out to
Helinka's gone wide.
He's going to lose out to Radek here, if he's not careful. Radek just drives around the outside of him and makes the pass. Good move. So, Helinka being overtaken on the outside by XRTs today, and he's down to P11 now.
Something's wrong with his front left tire. I think he's exceeded optimal temperature.
That's
and
a real
he's
shame.
going to have to calm it down now. Just bring it to the finish and avoid any unnecessary accidents.
Well, bring it to the finish. We're not even halfway, so yeah, he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to keep that car on the track. And side by side behind almost, it's Velenov's really taking the fight to Sean as Sean gets on the grass again. There's contact. Velenov unsettling that XRT, and in the background you can see the green and yellow Subaru Technica car of Nika Pantola. He'll be wanting to get in on this battle. Top 5 would suit him nicely. Let's see if Velenov can make any more imprints in the back of that XRT. There's already an FXO shape dent on the rear left. See what he can manage here. It's all about who can get on the power earlier, and it looks like Velenov's managed it. Velenov on the power very early there, and he'll be side by side. Will he? No, he drops behind. Sean actually got a very good exit as we head to turn 1 once again. Velenov thinks about a move, but ultimately too far back, and Nico definitely getting closer.
Yeah, Bahadar wanted to be by the A pillar of Sean Lee's car, but the B pillar just wasn't enough in the Parabolica, to be honest. And there was a mistake at the back. Radek Luski has gone wide at the first combo of corners, and Gabor Gior is through to P10.
Yeah, Gabor really needs to make up as many places as he can. That seems like a bit of deja vu to Tuesday's race. TRR where he needed to do that. Oh,
there's
contact!
contact, Jared
Mead! Oh, that's unfortunate. Lag
Yeah,
contact
that
there.
was with Zanella.
Oh,
Was trying to move on the inside, and just the lag spike
yeah, that's
has destroyed Jared
destroyed
Mead's front
Jared's
end.
car. That has destroyed Jared's car. That's going to be a tricky end to the race. Car 33 retiring, we're hearing. Who was that? I didn't catch the name. I apologise, but car 33 out.
That's Patrick Linker. Yeah, I was worried about him, to be honest. His
Okay,
tyre
so
was
sorry,
giving
Patrick's
up.
car. Yeah,
Yeah, poor Patrick.
indeed. We're watching Jared Mead here after that contact with Jeremiah Sinella, the South American.
Steve Martin want to be careful. He doesn't want to get too close. He'll want to make his car his car as wide as possible heading into Parabolica.
Yeah, Magic's got past for race green. He's got past up into P20, and Steve Martin, yeah, looking like he's going to try and make a move. Really unlucky there for Jared. He was running in a really strong position, and yeah, he won't be happy with that side-by-side contact with.
ETA warning for
Sinella.
avoidable contact.
And a warning there for, I believe, Zanella, car 80, for the avoidable contact into turn number 5 on Jared Mead. So the steward's very quick to react to that one.
Yeah, Patola and Velinov. See, Sean Lee is trying to defend heading into the left-hander before the sector 1 line. What happened was Patola saw an opportunity, but Velinov was kind of stuck in the middle. A little bit of contact, but well done to the Finn. He backed out and allowed Velinov to continue. So great driving there. Sean Lee is under a lot of pressure now. I think he's just about held on. So well done for Pantola backing out when he could have easily wrecked Velinov's day.
Ten laps gone. Eoin Katilla still trying to catch our leader, Renault Koets. He's brought the gap down, but it's not coming down quick enough, I don't think, unless Renault makes a mistake. Pauli, the gap to Eoin has opened up somewhat. He's in P3 at the moment. Carroll is strong in P4, and he's looking good. If he can try and bring that gap down a little bit more. Sean Lee, P5, still trying to defend from Velinov, who's putting on a very strong display. Nika Patola, as Eoin mentioned, has lost a bit of time after backing out of a potential accident. Then it's Daniel Balla, very strong result at the moment, P8. Likewise, Sandro Chanturia, P9. And Gabor has made it past Patrick Linker, who had to retire the car, into P10. And last driver in the top 10, with Radek Lutsky just outside, having a battle with...
That's Yari, yeah. Yari is all over the back of Lutsky, but I think he has to wait another lap to make a move stick. Have a car in the pits. Tressiter has decided something has to change for his race, but with the abnormal approach to it, he may have decided to refuel or get new tires. But he has to make the right choice because his lap is basically ruined.
Yeah, he's
with the entry to turn 4.
Yeah, pitted for some reason. Probably wants to pick up finish the race, and figures that the only way you can do that is with a pit stop.
Let's continue to watch the battle for 8th place. Daniel Balla versus Sandro Chanturia into the oval section now. They're very, very tight. Daniel Balla with an aggressive push onto the apron, very NASCAR style. You don't want to defend your ideal, or you do want to defend your ideal line, but that could force Chanturia, now that we're on the infield again, to make a lunge just before sector 1. He decides against it, but he's got the power down now, and he's got to make a decision here. Will he go to the outside? Yeah, we have a slight apex before the real turn, braking at 50 meters.
Yeah, he's psyched Daniel out here. Look, he's lined him up. That's a great way to set up the overtake. He's going to be side by side. It's not quite going to be enough, but it was a good effort trying to unsettle Daniel's car on the entry to that corner. These two had a great race so far, very clean racing. I wonder where Chanturia picked up that front end damage that he's got. Oh, big send.
Oh, he's gone for it.
What
Oh,
a send. It's worked. I can't believe it.
I was nearly going to tap somewhere else. That was excellent from the Georgian. His confidence is sky high after his win in Rockingham. And
That was
now
a
he can
great
even go
move.
for Pantola. Well done, Sandra.
Well, fair play to Daniel for realising what was happening as well. I like to see that. Just full send and both drivers working it out in the end. So, yeah, top points for that. And look how close he's managed to get to Nico with that move. Nico is going to be surprised by what he's seeing in his rear view mirror, no doubt. Our top RB4 by some considerable margin. Our only RB4 inside the top 25, Owen.
Yeah, we're missing some key players with Brown and Hardwick.
And Hardwick
That's a
and
real shame.
Linker now. So yeah, RB4s are on the ropes at the moment, and at risk of losing another place.
Oh no,
as
he's
Nico's on
playing
the
rally.
grass.
He's playing rally with his Subaru. That could mean Venturi could go again for the outside into the psyching out move. He's going to go down on
He's
the
got to
apex.
be careful
No,
of Daniel
the
behind.
block. Daniel is now seeking some payback.
Yeah, Daniel's
has to
doing
back
Nico
out.
a favour here, isn't he? He's trying to make Sandro take his eyes off the front of his car. Working almost with Nico. Nico goes on the grass again and again. Well, the RB4 doesn't
Sandro's
really
now in a
mind
really
much.
uncomfortable position. His
Ooh.
dive bomb could still work. Yeah, he's made it pay. So he definitely makes his discomfort very relaxing.
Wow, he loves.
Thanks to his skill in the parabolica. Exactly.
Yeah, he loves the parabolica for those inside moves. Nico, good to see what's going to happen. But Daniel Ballas trying to move around the outside. We've seen this work with Halinka and Coots earlier on, but Daniel can't make it work this time. Renault Coots, meanwhile, look at the gap between him and Yoni Katila. Yoni's been on it the last couple of laps. Is it enough? 3 laps to go, or 2.5 laps? Yoni Katila's brought the gap down to well less than a second, and it depends on the state of their tyres and other things as to whether we will see Yoni going for a move potentially. That XRT leaving a lot of rubber on the road through turn 6.
There's a little bit of action further down the field. Pavel Lusky in the FXO made an overtake on Weber into the first turn. They were side by side on the start finish straight, but with the inside line, Lusky had the power play and made full use of it.
Quite a good battle there. You got 2 born to race cars of Cahal, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Is that any better?
That's better, yes.
and Ayub as well.
Ayub as well.
But yeah, Renault Coots needs to keep his eyes forward, I think, and not pay much attention to that FXO that's looming large in his rearview mirror. He's definitely closed up on this lap, though. I reckon Yoni might have a chance. He's within striking distance, certainly. Can Yoni win this race? It looked pretty even so far, and yeah, let's see. Renault looking a bit unsettled into turn 5.
Well, Yanni has never let the lead expand to a scary stage. That's
curb. Yeah, the buggy curb has struck. Oof, that's a tough one. Yoni is going to be side by side. That's unlucky. Sometimes the curbs at Kyoto can just catch you out if you hook them in just the wrong way. That's lucky. Renault's just managed to keep ahead. I say lucky. It's just fortunate, I suppose. Yeah, Yoni's going to have to try somewhere else. It's going to be on the final lap if it's going to happen.
Yeah, there is a lapped car ahead of them, and they're definitely going to catch that particular car. I can't tell who it is just yet. There is going to be trouble afoot if they bang doors and find themselves with a moving obstacle.
Yoni was classified ahead at the split, so just ahead he managed to get, but can he do it again on this lap? Renault's dodged a bullet there as Gabor's got past Nika Pantola. Late on the brakes for Yoni, almost hits the back.
This might be his opportunity. His FXO will have plenty of grip in the oval section.
Yeah, Renault's compromised his exit.
Has to cut. Renault has to cut.
Good exit though. Might be enough. Where can Yoni make this move? Renault hits the wall.
Slap of the wall, alright, yeah.
Both of them cutting as much of the grass as they can get away with. This is where it went wrong for Renault last lap. No such problems this lap, well off the curb. Yeah, Ioni's opportunities are running out. It's so difficult to pass.
Yeah, how Paolo gets out of the way, good stuff.
He gets away by doing some lawn mowing. As Ioni gets a bit wide on the exit. I think Renault's done everything he needs.
Yeah, it's down to the Parabolica.
Paoli's looking set for third. Carolis P4, but what's going to happen between Sean Lee and Velenov? Velenov's still not able to try and find a way past that XRT. But yeah, it looks like Chanturi is on his own, and Gabor's managed to get past Nico a few laps ago. But Nico, at risk of losing out on a top 10 finish. But here we go, Renault Coots
here
up
come the
to
leaders.
the line. He will win the sprint race, closely followed by Ioni Katila. Paoli Peltikangas will cross the line P3. Good effort. Carolus Motojutis P4. And then there's a big gap, isn't there, Owen, to Velenov and Sean Lee. Sean Lee just managing to stay ahead of Velenov in the end. Sandro Tanturia, great result, P7. Gabor P8. Probably would have hoped for more. Then Nico just manages to hold off the Ford Rally Sport car of Jeremiah Sinella, who received a warning in that race for side-by-side contact with Jared Mead of Angry Angus. Close finishes behind Daniel Balla just outside the top 10 in P11, Radek Lutsky P12, Andre Araujo P13, Michael Malik P14, Yari Katila P15. Then this really close group of Jürgen Weber, Abel Nuni and Kahal Krorkin. Pavel Lutsky just inside the top 20 with Magic having a good race in P20. Steve Martin, P21. Jared Mead after that unfortunate lag contact which saw him sideswipe the concrete wall at turn 5 down in P22. He would want to try and recover some points in race 2. Fonseca in P23. David Balla, P24. Serafimov in P25. Sigitas Sakis, P26. Timu Soini, P27. Rej LeBlanc, P29, and our final finishers, Simon Astakavicius, P29, Jamie Tressida, P30, João Paulo, P31, and it was only Patrick Kalinka that we lost, who wasn't able to make his tyres last for whatever reason, possibly an incorrect setup, Owen?
Yeah, that's one way of thinking about it, Pete, but it's just his confidence evaporated after losing the lead. He certainly had the opportunities to carry on, but I'm afraid something did go wrong, and he had to DNF.
Well, anyway, there you can see our podium drivers, the drivers that did make it. In the middle, Renault Coots, who led for most of the race, in fact, after Halinka dropped down. A stunning move to take over the lead of the race for Renault, which proved to be crucial because Ioni Katila was all over him in the last couple of laps. Paoli Peltikangas, with that ballast, just not able to really mount any sort of attack on Ioni, but picks up a well-deserved P3 in the sprint race. Coming up here, we have the 27-lap feature race starting at 16:45. We're hearing it might be slightly earlier, actually, because this race was finished quite a bit sooner. We think it could be 16:40 now, actually, so in around about 7 minutes' time. So, Owen, plenty to talk about from that race. Standout performances from Renault Coots and their attack Newsman Racing, of course. And yeah, let's see if we have any drivers who want to come and have a chat to us. Of course, any stream that we do, drivers, you're welcome to come and have a chat to us in the commentary box between races or after races. We love to hear from the drivers that are competing. Some of them are a bit shy. We've not managed to warm too many people up, but hopefully we'll get to hear from some people today. So yeah, Owen, stand-up move of the race for me has to be Renault Coots down into T1 4P1. In fact, yeah, that move on Patrick Linker saw him take over the lead with just enough of a gap to maintain that position until the end to pick up some valuable points for his campaign.
Yeah, it adds yet another winner to our circle this year. Very, very difficult for one driver to dominate. Paddy Peltakangas and Yoni Katila yet again on the podium, but they have to be content with silver and bronze. It's so difficult to be consistent in this series. You have to be at your very best every minute of every second of this race and this series in general.
Yeah, you've really got to be on it. Great move also by Sandro Chanturia, making 2 excellent overtakes into the Parabolica. The first on Daniel Balla, and was it Daniel Balla the first time? I cannot remember, but anyway,
it was Balla and Pantola, I believe.
Yes, Pantola, that was it. Yeah, those 2 moves great into the Parabolica. Yeah, so the qualifying for the second race is a partially reverse grid race, and we will try to confirm with you who will be on pole position. We haven't heard from race control who the pole position will be, but I do believe, I might be wrong, it could be Jeremiah Sinella on pole position.
Yeah, if the timing ended on a 0, so we have 27 minutes 1 second 0.70.
Absolutely.
So that could mean P10.
Joining us in the commentary box right now is the driver that finished in where did Jürgen finish? P16. Hi Jürgen.
Hi.
How's it going?
More or less it went well. Was a little bit nervous at the beginning, and at the main part of the race it was a little bit unlucky, staying behind some slower cars and not getting in a position to take it over. And yes, but it's okay.
Good. It's great to see you driving once again in LFS. I hadn't seen you driving since the City League days, in fact. But yeah, what do you make of your return and obviously the TBO challenge? How are you enjoying it?
I'm really enjoying it. It's not my favorite type of cars, but it's still good for me to go on driving. And I have not paused driving. I was only not on a league or something like this. So at least I was the whole time active in LFS, only without joining some challenges or something like this.
Yeah, well, it's great to see you, and Tilo Falkenberg, your teammate, echoing my sentiments in the Twitch chat, saying it's great to hear your voice on the stream. So thank you very much for having a chat with us, Jürgen. For race 2, you're starting in P16. What can you do from there?
Not really so much. It's driving the FXO, so on start I will be passed by the XRT and the RB4. And it would be good or okay for me if I will hold this position at the end of the race.
Great. So we hope to see you maybe making a couple of places or around about there for the next race. Yeah, you've got 2 Born to Race XRTs behind you who will undoubtedly get a strong start, but Jari Katila will be starting 1 place ahead, so maybe you can fight with him or block the XRTs from behind into turn 1. Whatever you decide to do, have a great race too, and maybe we'll speak to you later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jürgen.
Yeah, thank you.
Jürgen Weber there for Heroes of Racing. Great to see him around, and yeah, still competing in championships in the for speed. Awesome stuff. Eoin, we are minutes away from the start of the feature race here in the TBO Challenge. We saw plenty of action in last week's feature race where drivers were getting quite hot-headed with the reversed grid. We do believe it will be Jeremiah Sinella on pole position. He'll have Nico Pantola starting alongside. So yeah, Eoin, Nico Pantola, RB4, front row. Can Nico win?
Well, he'll have to do what Patrick Linka failed to do, and that is keep his tires intact. We saw he did struggle at times to defend, but he's a very sensible driver, and he's not going to do anything too outrageous, but it is a great moment for Zanella, who did suffer that qualifying penalty. Now he's all the way up in pole, but I still would fancy the elite of the grid, the Catillas, the Peltakangases, and so on, to get back up to the front, and they'll be competing for the win, I'd say.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we expect Nico to make a great start, get away, and let's see if he can hold it. Time to do a few housekeeping announcements coming up soon on Sim Broadcast. On the 12th of December, it's Master Race Cars E-Challenge. Sign-ups open on the LFS forum. There's still spaces available. Here's the trailer. Thanks for tuning in on your Sunday afternoon or evening, or wherever it is, whatever time it is where you're watching, to watch round number 5 of the NDR TBO Challenge 2020. Don't forget that next week we hit the final round of the championship from Fern Bay Green on Sunday the 6th of December at 3:30 UTC. And at some point today, we hope to open the sign-ups for the end of season endurance, taking place on Sunday the 20th of December at 2:30 in the PM. That'll be a non-championship race, so we expect to see teams formed of drivers who were involved in the championship, and also some drivers who weren't involved in the championship. And rumour has it we may see a Sim Broadcasts team entering that race, so that'll be fun. Yeah, let's see what happens during that endurance race. It should be great. It's 6 hours around Aston North. A fantastic track with every single different type of corner you could ever hope for in a racing series. And in the TBOs, it will surely not disappoint. And yeah, we're really looking forward to that one. Sunday the 20th of December, sign-ups will be open imminently on the LFS forum. So keep your eyes peeled for those. Drivers are readying up on the grid, but we'll be back in just a few moments when we start the formation lap for race 2 here. Don't go anywhere. to round 5 of NDR's TBO Challenge 2020. We're moments away from the start, and we have an update for you regarding who will start on pole position. Jeremiah Sanella, after his contact with Jared Mead during the sprint race, means he got a penalty, resulting in a grid drop for this race. He starts down in P24, meaning that the driver that finished in P11 is promoted to pole position. And that's none other than Race Green Autosport's Daniel Balla, who starts this race from pole position. Eoin, do you want to take us away for the formation lap, please?
No problem, Pete. So yeah, ourselves in the commentary box, we predict Nico Matola will get the best getaway into the first corner using his RB4's four-wheel drive. But then we have a great mix of drivers in between the championship leaders. They'll all be vying for a podium if they can get one. And then you've got the Team Sidus car of Paddy Peltikangas in P8. Yannick Tilla's P9. And then our newsroom Autosports car, Renault Koots, he's now in P10. And then every driver who finished from 11th downwards will resume their ordinary starting position.
Yeah, with Zanella getting that penalty, it means that the driver we interviewed during the break, Jürgen Weber, will start P15, so a promotion for him. We'll keep an eye on his race. Daniel Balla will be enjoying the view in front of him as he has no cars to get in his way. That's going to be a different story, no doubt, when we head into turn 1, because I expect that Nico Pantola will very much be ahead of him, unless he botches the start. Gabor, he'll have a good start, P3. He'll be alongside Sandro Chanturia, as Eoin alluded to before. Then it's Velenov. And Sean Lee should get a fast start in his XRT. We have a full grid of 32 cars, which is excellent. Once again, same number of cars as we had starting in the sprint race. Before we get going, I'm going to give you a quick update on the Drivers' Championship. We have the provisional results after the first sprint race. Sorry, the sprint race. Paddy Peltikangas retains his lead by 136 points ahead of Sean Lee, Nico Pantola in P3, Yannick Tilla P5. Sorry, P4, Karolis P5, Oscar P6, Sandro P7, Daniel Balla P8, and now only 8 drivers theoretically can lift the team's championship trophy next week. Thank you, Thilo Falkenberg, for updating the driver standings between the race. We really appreciate that. A couple of drivers still making their way into position. We are on board with Elmo, one of our course cars here today, as he waits for the drivers to pull into position at the back of the grid.
A little bit of confusion with the grid slots at the back, but maybe they've recovered it.
Hopefully. It looks okay to me so far.
Conley is borderline over his starting box. I think he's going to get away with it.
Daniel Balla then in his position now, and here come the lights. Daniel Balla starting from pole position in race 2, 27 laps, the red lights are on, and we are racing once again. A great start obviously from the fast starting RB4, immediately 4 wide behind. Karolis Motojutis getting stuck in there, 4 wide. Velenov with a very, very late lunge up the inside.
Chanturia is wide, yeah, that's trouble.
Chanturia running off a little bit, and he's already side by side with Yannick Attila. He only started down in P10. But yeah, Daniel Balla retains P2, and he's already kind of closing up to the back of Nico Pantola again. Pauli Peltikangas got a really great start. Look at where Pauli is. He's up to P3, 4, 5.
That's
P5.
P6 to me,
P6.
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a great start for Pauli. Gabor not with a great start at all. He started P3, he's down to P.
This is 9, I think. P8, sorry.
Nico leads from Daniel, leads from Sean Lee. Then it's Renault Coots, who will be hoping for another great result here. He's got Bozidar Velenov right behind him, though. And we know that Bozidar loves to throw that car down the inside where he can. Let's see what he does at the end of this lap. Radek Lutzki's had a good start. He's up to P9. Karolis close to the back of Bozidar there, but yeah, keeping out of the back of that car. Peltikangas, great start, as I mentioned before. Radek Lutzki now under pressure from Joni Katila. Joni's going to be side by side with him as we go across the start-finish line.
Didn't see what happened to him on his start, but he did lose out a little bit. He must have been that 4 wide, distracted him.
Well, Joni's lost out. He's lost a place off the start as well. Let's see if he can try and get past this car as quickly as possible. 1 lap done, 26 to go. Joni Katila. I mean, last time out, if you ignore the fact that he didn't finish, Joni had a shocker of a start. He was way down the order at the start, and not as bad a start this week, even though top 10 cars were reversed this time. Karolis mounting a charge on the back of Pauli Peltikangas.
A little bit of contact.
Velenov's managed to get ahead of Karolis as well. Karolis has dropped down, in fact, 2 positions. So something's happened up ahead. Renault Coots is caught up to the back of his teammate. Sean's going to be under pressure from the number 75. And I wonder what the orders are going to be in that team. It's so close at the front. Nico Patola has not managed to get away from Daniel Balla, and he's on the grass, in fact. Daniel's going to have a sniff, maybe. All contact between the Air Attack Newsroom Racing teammates. Renault into the back of Sean, forcing him a bit wide. We're side by side for the lead as well. It's all going on at the front. Daniel's managed to get past Nico. This is surprising. I expected this RB4 to just walk away at the front, but anyway, Daniel up to the lead. Fastest lap for Bozidar Velenov so far in the race. And Renault, contact with the back of Nico, but he's managed to get up to P3. Can Sean make any sort of comeback as we head onto the oval again? Doesn't look like it, but Velenov well placed with Pauli Peltikangas right behind him, maybe to make up some positions on these XRTs ahead when they, or if they keep squabbling.
And a bit of good news for Joni Katila. He's through ahead of Luski. There was a bit of a wide moment for Katila. He was on the grass, but he managed to recompose himself into the double apex, heading into the oval section, and he now has gained P10.
Sad news for any Heroes of Racing fans out there. Jürgen's dropped from P15 to P26 after the opening lap. So he's got lots of work to do to make up positions during the remainder of this race. It's a long one, he's got time. Hopefully a good result for him in the end. Renault. The next car for him will be Nico Pantola for Subaru Technica International. Nico sideways and a bit wide into the Parabolica. Not too wide, but wide enough that Renault will be gaining time through there on him. Maybe thinking about an outside send, Nico's indicating. Maybe trying to distract him. Who knows? Looks as though he's giving him the place. He kind of moved over and hasn't mounted a defence, so a bit strange. Fastest lap for Karolis. For last lap motorsports. Nico Patola down to P3. Renault Coots promoted to P2. And oh, Sean into the back of Nico there.
Another great battle in the midfield, and guess who? It's Jared Mead. He's lost out. He's lost the position to Fonseca. You give him a little bit of a nudge, heading uphill into the oval, and now that's number 81. That's Pavel Aluski for Viaduct Czech Racing. Oh my goodness! And a bit of deja vu for Mead. He lost his race at that very corner, and his sort of rival of that time is right behind him now. Is Zanella.
Velenov's just got past Nico. Didn't really expect that to be happening so soon, but it's really, really bunched up. Sean Lee's dropped to 6th now, so something's happened while we were looking down the order. There's been a bit of a shake-up. I'm not sure quite how that's happened. Maybe one of our little birds can find out what happened to Sean Lee there as Karolis goes for a big send. Ooh, narrowly avoids spinning Sean round at the entry. Really close on the exit. Yeah, Yeah, you don't like to see those two getting too close, especially in the XRT. We've seen spills there in the last race, as Daniel Balla is under threat from Renault Coots, and there's a change for the lead. Renault back up to P1. He was in P1 at the start or at the end of this sprint race, and it's only taken him 4 laps, Eoin, to get from what would it have been, P10 to P1.
Yeah, that is something else.
Remarkable.
And he could change the face of the championship. I don't think anyone has performed a sweep of the weekend, and he could be the very first to do it, especially without any ballast to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. A reminder of those driver standings provisionally after the first race. You can see that who are we looking at? We're looking at Renault Coots. He doesn't actually feature in the top 24 drivers, so all he's doing really is taking points away from these top guys, namely Pauli, Sean, Nico, whatnot, Eoin, which just shakes things up, and we love to see a shake-up, don't we, with 1 round to go. Pauli Paltakangas then is right behind Nico Pantola, and I reckon his next best opportunity to try and get past is going to be into Parabolica, which is the next corner coming up. Nico's got a good run. He's on the grass again. He loves going on the grass in that 4-wheel drive RB4. Lots of slide. Pauli actually quite wide there, and Sean Lee is now closer to Pauli than Pauli is to Nico. Motojutis then under threat then from Sandro Chanturia, with Eoin Catilla back inside the top 10. He's in P9 right now. Sandro going for a move, and Eoin trying to make something of it as well. But yeah, clean racing lap between those two. Does look like Pauli. Yeah, Pauli got past Nico, and so did Sean. So wow, Nico has not had a good start to this lap. He drops from P4 to P6. Sandro and Motojutis side by side. Carol is still ahead slightly. But yeah, that's a shocking lap from Nico Pantola on the last lap. You'll see the positions update now. And Nico drops like a stone to P6.
Yeah, with that RB4 on its own, it does lose out a lot of its benefits. The high-speed sections are absolutely shocking for it. And without any teammate to help him out, it's certainly going to be a long evening for Nico.
Renault Coots with the fastest lap leads on lap 6, ahead of Daniel Balla, who started on pole position. Then it's Velenov for World Class Lions in P3. Then it's Peltakangas, who'll be hoping to catch up to Velenov and get back on the podium. Sean Lee, P5. Nico Pantola, P6 or 7, in fact. He managed to get past Motojutis, but... Oh no, Motojutis has got past him on that lap, so he's lost another place. Motojutis occupies P6 now. Then it's Nico Pantola, Sandro Chanturia side by side with Eoin Catilla in the background. Let's ride on board with Eoin and see how he's faring in this race.
Obviously, his driving style. Yeah, Eoin's driving style is very smooth, very efficient, and having traffic in front of him, especially those as quick as Chanturia, it's going to cause him awful headaches. And he does actually run wide, just a little bit.
We're hearing that Sean Lee, the reason that he dropped so far down from where he was, well, I say so far, it was like 2 or 3 positions, was because he had a bit of a tangle in T6 on that lap. So yeah, Sean it's not going all of his way in this race as we continue to ride on board with World Class Lions Eoin Catilla. P2 in the last race. The man he was fighting with in the last race is quite a long way up the road in P1 already. Yeah, so a brilliant start for Renault, and not such a brilliant start for Eoin. He's still in the same position he was at the start of the race, remember? Dropped down to P11 at the start, back up to P9 now, and you can see the cars that he's got ahead of him. The white and red car, that's Sandro Chanturia, the Georgian driver. Nico Pantola's green and yellow RB4 just ahead. And the other cars going round turn number 1, you've got Daniel Balla there, and Velenov, Peltakangas and Sean Lee. And Motojutis is there as well. Eoin's not managing really to... It's so difficult to pass around Kyoto North, especially with the FXO, it seems. Velenov's looking feisty. Whether he really needs to catch up to Nico and try and send a move. We know Sandro likes to send into the Parabolica, so hopefully we'll see something of that ilk.
I want to pay attention about 6 seconds down the road. Radek Lusky, Jari Katila, Cahill Krorken, and a queue of other cars are really battling for position. The sort of spared car from that chaos is Michael Malik. He overtook Lusky at the first corner on this lap, and he's broken away. But there was so much battling going on between this set of drivers. It just gives us a lot of promise, and we're not even halfway through yet.
Yeah, Michael's managed to open up a second gap over Radek in 4 corners, so that's a good effort. Radek clearly struggling with something or other. He's backed up into Jari Katila. Jari's looking like he might be able to get past that car as Radek drifts it out of the Parabolica. It's a good exit though, so I wonder whether Jari fancies a send into turn 1. A bit far back for that, but we've seen dives from further back from some drivers. Not today for Jari.
Jeremiah Sinella, I think he's going to overtake Pavel Lusky. No, there was a block. But I think he's surrendered the position out of good grace.
Oh, side by side.
Or has he not? No.
Action.
Yeah, the
back
double
past.
apex. Yeah, he's back ahead. Is Pavel Lusky, number 81 versus number 80, and Fabio Fonseca is right behind as well. Lots of drivers gonna pull themselves into profit here if they can just keep themselves going while the other drivers lose control.
Shout out to
fabulous
Halinka,
three-way.
As Chanturia loses 2 places. He lost to Andre Araujo and Gabor. So Sandro's been off somewhere. I wonder whether we can find out what happened to him there. That's quite a lot of time.
Oh no, Felipe, that's Felipe Fonseca. He's gone wide at turn number 7. That's a huge amount of just a bit of a commentator's curse there. He could have profited, but he's actually fallen off the road himself. I do feel bad for him there.
Yeah, I was going to make a shout out actually to Patrick Halinka, who started in 32nd place. He's up to P19 now, thanks to Fonseca dropping the ball into turn number 7. But yeah, we've got Halinka back in the race. Radek Lutsky and Jari Katila side by side across the line as we head on to lap number 10. Jari trying to find any way he can to get past the orange Jägermeister XRT of Radek Lutsky.
Oh, a little bit late on the brakes. That's gonna temper Radek quite a lot in his Jägermeister XRT. And then 4 different possibilities could happen here. Could Lusky lose control, or is it Jari Katila gonna break? No, it's looking okay.
It's becoming quite a train. You've got Born to Race and Ford Rally Sport behind. That's Cahill Krorken and Jeremiah Zanella now going at it side by side. There'll be a good exit from Jeremiah. Can he go for the send around the outside? No, thinks better of that one. Good exit for Jari.
Excellent commitment out of the chicane and now uphill left. There'll be no flat out performances here. You have to lift off just a tad to keep your car off the grass.
Some drivers further
with
forward
race
are
fuel.
doing it flat, but yeah, they're running higher fuel, of course. Yeah, you're right. Probably more difficult at this stage of the race. Side by side with Cahill is Jeremiah's trying to get past.
Jeremiah's is through.
Side by side, you don't want to be doing that. Cahill in the right place to get the move back, so yeah, he's managed to retain that for now.
Krorken.
While these
now
guys
he's got the inside line.
Yeah, while these guys are squabbling, this is letting the cars behind catch up, and in that bunch of cars is Patrick Linker. We know he's got pace. Hopefully he's got the right setup on this time and doesn't overheat all his tyres. Let's run down the order then, as we've just gone over a third through. Renault Coutts leads from Daniel Balla. Then it's an enormous squabble, Owen. We've got 5 cars within half a second of each other. And it's anybody's guess as to who's going to come out on top here, but it looks like Motigutis has made a place on Velenov. Velenov's dropped from P4 to P7 in a corner. Maybe even more than that. We'll get an update. But that's terrible. That's terrible for Velenov. He's been absolutely mugged. P3 down to P7. Motigutis P3. Sean Lee there in P4. Pauli Peltikangas, our championship leader, in P number 5. And Eoin, after a bit of a wobbly start to this race, is back up into the top positions. He's in P6 at the moment.
And just a shout out to Steve Martin. I was keeping an eye on the battle behind our previous foursome, and he pulled off a smooth and spectacular move on Jared Mead into turn 6. That's probably his moment of the season so far. He'll be very pleased to hear about that on comms.
And very upset that we didn't catch it on the stream. Apologies, Steve.
Yeah, Renault has a heck of a lead. He can do what he likes for the moment, but it's still early days yet.
Yeah, we saw how much pace the FXO had in the dying stages of the previous race. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it. I don't know how long it's going to take the FXOs to get through. Pawlutsky having a spin, we hear. He's down in P18 at the moment. Krorkin and Zanella still going at it. But this is the group we're focusing on at the moment. These are the crucial positions in the championship. The 2 drivers with the 3 drivers on your screen with success ballast, of course, and Pauli Peltikangas in the the pink, yellow, and white Sidus car with the most, 25 kilograms on board.
Earlier on in the race, Jamie Tressiter decided to withdraw. His car must have been misbehaving, and João Paulo is another car heading into the pits, and I can only assume that's a retirement as well. If you pit on this track, you're all but certainly going to finish last.
Sean with a bad exit. Sorry, Eoin. Pauli's going to try and make this move into turn 5 in his contact.
Oh no!
Keep it clean.
No problem for the interruption, Pete. But that is a bit of a door banger there. Pauli did get the job done. It's about as lean as he's going to go for revenge. Sean. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, that's gonna. That I don't know whether that's wise. If Eoin manages to get past Sean, he'll regret that. Luckily, Sean's really looking. He's got the red mist. Look, he's trying to find any way he can to get back past, and he needs to be careful that Eoin doesn't snatch a position away. Eoin really wants to get past. He needs to keep up with Pauli. Absolutely needs to stay under Pauli's rear wing. Can't let him get too far away.
Sean is very much
Eoin's gone for a
present-day thinker. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be contact.
Oh no, the triple contact.
Yet again,
Eoin
contact between Sean and Pauli, and this time it doesn't work out for Sean. Remember back to the last lap at South City, round 2, Pauli and Sean came together and yeah. Oh, Sean, what is he doing?
Well, Sean's championship will be over if he retires from this race. Like I was just going to say, he's a very...
Oh, and he's ruined it.
No.
He's put it away. He just can't afford to do that. He's beached it as well. There was no way that was going to work. Sean, that's crazy. I can't believe that. And that's hurt Eoin as well. There's not a lot Eoin could have done. Yeah, he could have maybe left the door open a bit, but there was no room to have your nose in there, and side-by-side contact means that those 2 cars pitched round, and Eoin's now back down behind Bozidar Velenov and Sean. That's tough for his championship after that.
That could be a fatal blow. I was saying he's a man of the moment, Sean Lee. He loves making today count rather than worrying about tomorrow. But tomorrow may never come because his championship lies in tatters if he doesn't finish near Pauli and Eoin. That's fact.
Look at Sean's position now. P17 registered on the timing tower. And yeah, we're halfway through the race. Sean's thrown it away as we've got cars on and off the track. What has happened here? Velenov super wide. Ioni Catilla's managed to, well, get past would be an understatement. Zoom past in the last sector. And Velenov is now at the front of this gaggle of cars, including Gabor for Sidus and Nico Patola. Nico getting past, or at least alongside Gabor. He'll probably have the advantage as we head out of the double right, but Gabor well placed to get this place back. Yep, looks like it. Andre Araujo is having a great race. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe Andre only has one arm. And it's always amazing to, hear what he's doing in racing. And P9 so far is definitely his best result in the TBO challenge, driving with one arm.
Sim racing, we always love to hear stories of people overcoming disabilities and other parts of their lives that are outside their control. So if Andre can perform brilliantly today, then we'll be very proud of him. That's for sure.
It's about to be in a battle with our favourite Georgian, Sandro Janturia. Let's see how this battle fares. Sandro's going to have to find another way around somewhere else, as we've got Nico Patola and Gabor sending up grass, and Andre's fancying a move around the inside of Nico. He's got Nico. Gabor's got a good exit, and Sandro also with a good exit. Maybe he can also get past Nico. Bit of contact as we head across the line, and yeah, it does look like Nico's going to have the inside. So will Andre. Sandro having a go around the outside. Might be able to make up 2 positions here. Yeah, he's got the inside line. That's a good effort.
Very nice.
Contact behind between Abe and Nico. Abe's little bit of contact there's kind of stunted Nico's exit
Car
a bit.
87 drive through for blocking.
So Nico Patola has received a drive-through penalty for blocking. That happened about lap 4. Can't remember exactly how that panned out, but I'm afraid the stewards are going to bring in the Subaru, and a drive-through penalty on this track is absolutely devastating.
That's massive. I don't remember the blocking incident. Maybe we were just focusing on the action, but that's a severe penalty for Nico Patola's race.
The stewards estimate 25 seconds is the amount of time it takes to drive through that pit lane, where you go off the circuit, turning left, drive straight for about 100 meters or so, and then a hairpin before you re-emerge back on the oval. It's an extremely difficult pit lane to manage.
Yeah, he's got 3 laps to serve it. He may as well do it straight away, because he's in a battle with Ayub El Hanouni. Ayub will inherit P10. Whether Ayub knows about Nico's penalty or not remains to be seen. But he's gone for the send anyway, and if Nico knows about his penalty, he'll probably just yield that position. There's no real reason to fight with Ayub at this point. Let's see whether Nico brings his RB4 down the pit lane on this occasion. Yes, he does. This is going to be a very long trip down the pit lane for him. 80 kilometers an hour speed limit. He brakes for it. Rally car round there for Nico Patola, and then he heads back down the other side of the pit lane to re-emerge. Let's see how his rejoin goes. Yeah, no cars around. That's hurt. That hurts. And Nico will plummet down the order, and maybe he'll join. He's quite a long way behind even Sean Lee, so yeah, he's lost an absolute ton of positions there. Renault Coupe crosses the line. Sorry, Eoin. To start
lap
18.
I'm just going to make the point that if I were Pauli Patakangas, I'd be delighted, because my 2 main title rivals have had offs, and I just need to keep going. I don't need to win the race now.
And more importantly,
just keep it sensible.
Ahead of Ioni Catilla. But for how long? Ioni running way less ballast than Pauli. So this is a battle to watch out for. Another battle to watch out for is that between the 2 XRTs ahead of those 2 FXOs, Daniel Balla for Race Green and Carolus Motodutis for Last Lap Motorsports. Renault Coots looks untouchable out front, it has to be said. He's... Wow, look how big the gap is. It's like 2 corners. Daniel and Carolus have no response right now for the pace of Renault Coots for Air Attack Newsroom Racing, doing everything he needs to do to secure 2 wins, barring any errors in the 10 laps that remain in race 2, the feature race.
Yeah, about 16 seconds of a gap over Daniel Balla. That's as big as we've seen all season. Definitely the biggest, I think.
I can't think of any gap that's been bigger than that. I think you're right. Let's see what Carolus does. We're riding aboard with the Last Lap Motorsport car as they both enter the Parabolica at the end of the lap, and that's a threaded needle. That's close. They'll be side by side across the start-finish line. I wonder who's going to come out ahead of this. Daniel just ahead and in the perfect position for the double left. Can he hold it there though? Still side by side. Carolus, no overlap for the next corner. Daniel covers that off well, but Carolus putting a nose in. Really, really great driving between these two. That's fantastic. But it's going to be a drag race, and Daniel has the upper hand. Excellent stuff.
The banking of the oval saved Daniel Balla there. He was able to stay over the wall. But I think turn 6 is the moment. Carolus Motodutis, P2.
P2 for Carolus. And in the background you can see those 2 FXOs still squabbling for position. Carolus just needs to keep his head down. Daniel Balla's been driving excellently, but he's at risk of losing out on a podium position if those 2 FXOs catch up. So Daniel Balla head down now, and he'll hope that Pauli and Eoin will scrap. I'm sure Pauli will be hoping that Eoin flips his car. Probably not, but you know what I mean.
Throwback.
Throwback to last week. Side by side, Eoin and Pauli. Eoin in the unfavourable outside position has to yield to...
That's tiny contact.
Tiny contact, but yeah. No, importantly, that has opened the gap up to Daniel a little bit while those two were fighting.
Yeah, Daniel Balla can hang on to P3, Race Green Autosports. It'll mean the world to them, I'm sure. Another team, Race Green Autosports, beg your pardon. Now they've been waiting so long for a moment like this season. So if they can hang on, they'll be jumping for joy.
Right on board with Eoin Catilla for World Class Lions. Finished the last race in P2, currently P5 after a recovery drive almost from the start. The reverse grid saw him start in 10th place. He dropped a position or 2 and he's made it back up to P5, whereas his rival from the last race was up to P1 from P10 within 5 laps. Quite the contrast of strategy and car choice having an effect on the starts and in race 2. But now Eoin looks set for potentially a podium if he can get past Pauli Paltikangas, who he's been following for quite a number of laps, and Daniel Balla ahead of him, who is dropping back from Carolus Motodutis now. Carolus looks set for P2, barring any errors. As Daniel runs wide, you can see Eoin trying not to run into the back of the very pink, very large Sidus FXO. Let's see what we have here. Botsi or Pauli Paltikangas, as some of you know him, going defensive into the double left.
No trouble for Daniel Balla there. He's made a big mistake. And now he's going to be swallowed up by the championship protagonists.
Yeah, he runs a bit wide there. He might be struggling with his tyres slightly, Daniel Balla, or just lack of traction out of the double right. Wide again, and he'll be side by side.
Oh
no, that's a shame. Podium for Daniel would have been mega, but it's slipping away. He's still on the inside of Botsi, but Pauli has managed to get past, I think, and Eoin desperately needs to get past that XRT as well if he wants to stay with Pauli. He's throwing everything at this overtake, and Daniel's run wide again. He'll get a good exit, but Can Ioni stay ahead? It's looking unlikely,
Bala
actually.
has a good exit.
Yeah.
He was spooked by Pauli's defensive maneuver, but he's kept the position. I think that's given him a little bit of belief back.
Yeah, what a turnout. Well, this is turning into quite the battle, and I wonder whether Daniel fancies a shot again. No, he goes early on the brakes. Let's see what Ioni can do. You can already see that the gap to Pauli's opened up because there's this XRT in the way now. Daniel in the defensive position. Will Ioni go for the late switch back for the inside? Thinks about it, but wasn't committed. They're both very deep on the brakes, and whoa! Ioni just drove around Daniel there on the inside. So Daniel, in the space of a lap, loses out on a podium provisionally down to P5. That promotes Sidus's Pauli Peltikangas, our championship leader, to another podium for his record, if he can keep it from fast-charging Ioni Katila. Meanwhile, in the background, Velenov is in a battle with Gabor and Andrea Araujo. This is the battle for P7 in the race. Ayoub El Hanouni rounds out the top 10 just behind, but yeah, let's keep an eye on this battle just for a moment. Sandro Chanturia seems to be driving kind of on his own at the moment. He's quite a distance ahead of Gabor, but quite a way behind Daniel Balla. If Daniel can keep his composure, he should be okay to maintain P5 in the 5 laps that we have left. Renault Koots has just crossed start-finish to start. 5 laps to go. Lap 23, he leads from Carolus Motojutis and Pauli Peltikangas, with Ioni Katila bearing down on him in P4.
We may be moments away from a change of position in the midfield. Yeah, Zanella overtakes Malik. It's at P12. Yeah, it was a close run thing for the majority of the lap. Zanella in the Ford Rally Sport, or Ford Rally Sport, got the move done in the Parabolica after sustained pressure.
Fair play to Zanella. He started P24 after the penalty from race 1, and he's made 12 positions to get up to there, and he's now probably looking over the back of Radek Lutsky for P11. I wonder whether he can get into the top 10. It's probably a stretch because Abe's quite a way ahead.
Here's Jürgen Weber versus Jari Katila in the oval section. Again, this is 16th position.
Yeah, this is
and
an
I
important
think
move.
Weber has it. Weber does have the initiative and takes the position.
Velenov and Gabor going for it. Velenov still leading from the other side of his car. Remember that World Class Lions are the main championship rivals to Sidus at the moment, so it's important that Velenov stays ahead of at least one of the Sidus cars if they stand any chance of keeping their hat in the ring for the Teams Championship, as Gabor runs very wide through Parabolica. That's given Velenov a bit more breathing room. Remember that Ioni Katila needs to finish ahead of Pauli Peltikangas if he wants to have any hopes of keeping the championship battle alive. Velenov's done everything probably that he can to stay ahead of Gabor just now, but Ioni really needs to get this job done on Pauli. It's close. It's close. It could be now.
Yeah, they were battling to turn 1, and Pauli did do a bit of a double switch in his defensive positioning, but Ioni Katila wasn't psyched out at all. He may just have to yield for the moment here. Pauli is feeling the heat.
He's definitely feeling the heat, especially through his front tyres, no doubt. Ioni, that's the closest he's been to actually making a move on Pauli, but he's going to have to find somewhere to do it in the 3 laps we've got left after this one. Renault Koots rounding the last corner to start his anti-penultimate lap of round 5. And there goes Ioni.
Katila has the inside, yes.
Good move. Great
Wow.
move. He lined him up perfectly, and ultimately Peltikangas, not really much he could have done. That was a great move. Ioni lined that one up perfectly. Yeah, you got to feel a bit for yeah, held on to that for quite a considerable amount of time. He'll maintain his championship lead if he finishes where he is at the moment. But valuable points back to world-class Lions, both in the Drivers' and Teams Championship for Eoin Katila and Božidar Velenov.
Yeah, the worst possible outcome on that reverse grid draw, 0, meant that every driver had to swap places. He could have been praying for maybe number 8, which could have kept him where he originally finished. But I don't think P4 will be at all upsetting to him.
The next driver that's under threat in the top 10 is Daniel Balla, as we predicted. Sandro Chanturia's caught him by, well, really quickly actually. Sandro was on his own for quite a while, and he's caught up not just to Daniel but also to Pauli. I don't think there's enough time for him to get up to the back of Pauli unless he makes a mistake. But Sandro, if he gets a good exit here, which he does, that was nicely lined up, could be on for an overtake into his beloved Parabolica. Let's see what he can manage. You can just see how strong the XRT is through the second part of the chicane. Daniel grabs a bit of grass. Sandro, he's going to choose the outside. Let's see if he can make it stick. It's going to be side-by-side action across start-finish. The XRT will have the legs down the straight, but Sandro might do the switch back to the inside for the deep lunge into the first 2 corners. He thinks about it. He's got a nose there. Oh, locks up a little bit to try and not tag the back of Daniel's car. Very close though, as Eoin Katila takes the fastest lap of the race.
Goes to show, once you're out of the way of your competitors and you have a clear track, you can begin to show your true potential. And Pete, you made the point about Patrick Linka's comeback drive. Unfortunately, that came to a premature halt, but Nico Pantola was given no hassle at all, overtaking Sakis for the 23rd position. But I'd say that's his peak, unless he can gain 5.5 seconds on Magic in 2 laps. That's a big ask.
It's a very big ask. Sandro looked like he was trying to line up Daniel into the little sweepers that we have at the beginning of the lap here. I guess you can call it a chicane. It didn't quite work. Daniel was very defensive and it paid off. He didn't lose too much speed, but side by side again through the infield chicane for Sandro Chanturia and Daniel Balla. And still Daniel Balla keeps ahead, but he touches the grass. Sandro has to check up a little bit.
He understeered in the ideal position for the block,
Oh!
and there is another bit of contact. He's angry about that, is Sandro.
Yeah, a little bit of a twitch from Balla.
Understeered into his preferred path out of the left-hander, and then there was contact with the braking zone in the Parabolica. So last chance of Luna now. Oh, how Paolo in the worst possible spot to be to be lapped. That gave a huge fright to Sandro Chanturia and myself.
Won't matter.
It won't matter. That is the
Look
move
at
done.
Velenov. What's Velenov going to do here? Velenov could make up not just the place past Daniel, but also Sandro. Sandro's done just enough to stay ahead, but now Daniel Balla immediately under pressure from
Car
Božidar
88
Velenov.
will receive a post-race stop-go penalty for multiple avoidable incidents.
Sean Lee there getting a post-race penalty of some form for multiple avoidable incidents. So further damage to Sean Lee's championship hopes as Velenov moves up into P6 with that fantastic move as a result of Daniel and Sandro battling. But we're on the final lap and we're on the final corner because this man, Renault Coots, makes it 2 from 2 in round 5 and finishes in spectacular fashion. Renault Coots wins the feature race of round 5 of the NDR TBO challenge. And then it's a long wait, isn't it, Owen, before we even see any sight of any other drivers that are going to come across the line. It's Carolus Motojutis for Last Lap Motorsports P2, Eoin Katila, well-deserved P3, Pauli Paltakangas just off the podium in P4, Sandro Chanturia, great drive, P5, Božidar Velenov, P6, then we've got Daniel Balla, P7, after starting on pole position. Gabor finishes P8 for Sidus, good points there. Andre Araujo, good effort, P9 for him. Abel Hanuni makes it a top 10 for Born to Race. Jeremiah Sinella, after starting 24th, finishes in P11, that's a good effort. Radek Lutsky not quite able to make a top 10, finishes in P12. Michael Malek with a good start ends up in P13. Sean Lee finishes in P14, but he will lose places thanks to a penalty that he picked up during that race. Kahal Krorkin, P15. Jürgen Weber loses a place from the start, but starts where he finished around where he expected, I guess. So Jürgen finishes in P16. Jari Katila, P17. Steve Martin, P18. Jared Mead, P19. Magic in P20. Pavel Lutsky, P21. Nika Bazzola, P22. Sujitas Sakias, P23. David Balla, P24. Rej LeBlanc in P25. Serafimov, in P26. Timu Soini, P27. And João Paulo finishes in P28.
Yeah,
So-
that was how Paolo just crossing the line for his actual finish as Renault Koots was preparing to celebrate. So quite an odd spectacle, I have to say, that one.
Yeah, and speaking of Renault Koots, he's so far ahead that we are having to wait quite a while for Karolis Motojutis and Joni Katila to line up. Here they come. Your podium for race number 2 here this evening. Renault Koots in the middle. To his right, it's Joni Katila for World Class Lines. And to his left in P2, it's Last Lap Motorsports Karolis Motojutis. That was a treat and very nice racing from everybody up and down the grid. Thanks everybody for joining us for this race. Please stick around because we hope to hear from at least some of the drivers in a few moments. But yeah, a little bit of a preview of what's to come here on Sim Broadcasts. Don't forget the season finale next weekend of the NDR TBO Challenge. Sunday, the 29th of November. I can't believe it's nearly the end of November already. But yeah, next week, Sunday, the 6th of December, 3:30 in the PM, the season finale at Fernbay Green. That is going to be one you won't want to miss. Then we have our non-championship endurance race at Aston North. You can sign up for that on the LFS forum very shortly when sign-ups open. You can team up with anybody you want. It's open to championship drivers as well as non-championship drivers, and it's rumoured that there may be a Sim Broadcasts team entering that, so that'll be fun for us to watch our own car bizzling around in that race. So keep an eye on the Live for Speed forum for sign-ups for that. But yeah, Eoin, one round to go. Today was awesome. Do you want to give us your 2 cents on this evening's action?
Sure thing, Pete. Renault Koots, he came, he saw, he conquered. But everybody else with the points on the championship to think about, I think they did a fairly good job. We have Joni Katila got a double podium. That's no mean feat. Pauli Peltokangas kept it sensible, but it was unfortunate for Sean Lee and Nika Patola that they were penalised in today's race, and that could knock them out for good. But I did enjoy seeing them battle wheel to wheel. And then the midfielders, again, Sean. Once again, we have Daniel Balla doing well. Araujo again in the top 10, for example. And plenty of drivers. I think we're pretty pleased with themselves. They did very well.
Deservedly so, absolutely. And yeah, as you alluded to, Renault Koots, the first double winner this season.
Yeah, I didn't actually predict that to happen, so he's absolutely smashed it today. So congratulations to Renault.
Yeah, massive congrats. We have some provisional championship standings, which I will bring up whilst we are having an interview with Serafimov. Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
Good as far as being almost last goes, I guess.
Well, almost last but 2. 26th of 32 starters. Talk us through race 2 and your race 1 and just in general your evening here for round 5 of the NDR TBO Challenge.
Race 1 was I had a very disappointing start. I started in first in very low revs, so I dropped down to last, but managed to crawl back. But second race I fixed that mistake and started from neutral this time. And unfortunately on lap 1 I got hit it. Someone just hit my rear and I was back to last. And I tried my best, but I couldn't really catch up. So that was my race, I guess.
And yeah, I mean, it's a tricky track. It's probably one you haven't driven before, Kyoto North. Had you driven the track much? Had you put in a lot of practice?
Well, I've driven Kyoto North, but not this specific configuration. The last time I did Kyoto in not the over circuit was probably the 6 hours of Kyoto with GTRs.
Okay.
Which I also failed miserably. So.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Talking about successes, what does next week look like? The season finale at Fern Bay Green. How are you looking forward to that? Do you reckon you can put in a better performance for that one?
I hope so. I'm gonna train a bit more, and I hope that I can win, but that likely won't happen.
Well, best of luck with that anyway, and thanks for joining us for an interview. Well done, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Cheers. Bozidar Velenov for World Class Lions joins us now in the commentary box. Bozidar, good result, P6.
Yeah, twice actually. That was very unexpected. Usually I'm like in the middle of the pack, like P15, something like that.
Well, two great results today, and yeah, how do you think you can transform that into a good result in the next one at Fern Bay Green?
Well, today I learned a lot more about like keeping the tires in good temperatures, you know, not pushing too much, and I think that would help me a lot for the next round. We'll see how it works out. Gotta start to make the set already. It's already next week, so.
Yeah, speaking of next week, it is the final of the Teams Championship. You're quite a way off the back of Sidus. Sidus had another strong result today, but more importantly, I think you walk away with more points. So we'll have to keep an eye on what that means in the Teams Championship. But both you and Yoni, the highest placed World Class Lions drivers, with securing good points for your team. You currently sit P2 in the standings. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on whether the gap to P1 comes down after this, but yeah, what did you expect in that side of things from this season coming in? You and Yoni obviously performing well today.
Well, honestly, I wasn't expecting to be like in P6. I was actually I was P3 actually for a long time, but I had a huge mirror full of botsy, which kind of made me kill my tires. But honestly, I wasn't expecting to be so far up and to be helping World Class Lions score points for the fight against Sidus.
Well, yeah, not just there, but you know, finishing ahead of Gabor as well, one of the Sidus drivers, really important for your team's results. So well done for that. Yeah, it's been a good season for you.
I would say so. I had some mashups in round 2 in South City. Was South City round 2? Yeah, I think so.
South City was round 2, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a straight track. I hit the wall several times and that just killed the tires then. Also, I had a little hiccup in Blackwood. So I had good finishing positions like P16 and P18. But I got a little disqualification there because of a slight, not so intentional, but intentional hit after the race finished. I think it was actually captured on the stream. Like, yeah. Oops about that.
Possibly. Turning our attention to the provisional driver standings after the feature race, you currently sit P14 in that standings list. That's provisional, of course. Probably will change based on some penalties post-race. But Pauli Peltikangas extends his lead in that. Yoni Katila and Sean Lee will be tied provisionally for P2, both on 1,748 points. Nika Pentola will be P4 and Karolis P5, and those will be the only drivers that are able to lift the Drivers' Championship after the next race. That's all provisional. It might change depending on protests and post-race. But yeah, 14th in the championship, Bozidar. Are you happy with that?
I'm pretty happy given the disqualification from the Blackwood round. I think it's pretty good result. I could have been fighting for a top 10 finish, but it is what it is.
It is what it is indeed. Well, best of luck next time out. Thanks for joining us for an interview. We hope to see you then.
You're welcome. Bye.
Cheers. Later. Carolus Motodutis joins us in the commentary box, P2 in race number 2. Hi, Carolus.
Hello.
That was a great race to watch. It looked like you had the job done pretty early on in that race, and it looked intense. Talk us through it.
Oh yes, that was a blast. Well, the beginning was intense because I had 4 cars in front of me. Thankfully, because they were fighting, I was able to pass all 4 of them in the same lap. So then the job was to run away from them. I think that I did that quite well. And later on, I caught Mandula, and that was quite stressful because I saw that he's slower, and also Botsy and Yanni was catching up to me. I tried to pass him once, didn't work out. I knew I have to be a little bit more aggressive, because if I don't pass him now, well, those 2 FXOs are gonna definitely catch me. So thankfully it went good. I passed him with, I think, minor contact. Yeah, and well, then I just had to be stable after that.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that in the commentary, that once you got past, it was a case of, well, Daniel was going to squabble with Yoni and Pauli. It ended up being quite a squabble. Yoni was held up a little bit by Daniel, and then eventually managed to get past to knock Pauli off the podium. But yeah, a good podium finish for you in this one. That does mean that you are the last driver that is theoretically able to win the Drivers' Championship in the next race. If you caught what we just put out on the stream, the provisional results, you're in P5 after that, pending any penalties or protests.
I didn't watch the stream, but I don't think I'm gonna be in any real fight for the win. There are
Possibly not
plenty
the
of
win,
fast
but you're
drivers.
still exactly where you need to be to potentially pick up if anyone makes an error.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, speaking of provisional results, just for anyone out there who's interested in what Pauli needs to do to lift the Drivers' Championship. If Pauli wins the sprint race, he's the champion, and 2 15 places will be enough for him in the final. So it looks all set for Pauli to win, but anything can happen in the TBO challenge. And yeah, maybe Carolus next race, maybe you can make his life a bit more difficult.
Yeah, I have to thank Pauli for blocking Yoni. If not for him, he would have definitely caught me.
Definitely got past. Well,
Yoni was making low 28s, I think, and it was high 28s for me when he passed Pauli.
I think you have Daniel Bala to thank as well, a little bit. If you watch anything back, you'll see Daniel caused Johnny a bit of a headache at the end, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch the stream.
Cool. Next time out, next weekend, we are at Fern Bay Green. What do you fancy? How do you fancy your chances around that track in the XRT? It should be strong.
I'm afraid of the first corner, that chicane.
Sure, yeah, that's a wise thing to be afraid of.
Yeah, just like everyone, probably.
Yeah, I'm not sure what chicane we're going to be running on that. I don't know whether we'll be adding the Boothie-esque chicane to the first corner, but by the looks of the practice session that's going on at the moment on the server, no such luck. So turn 1 will be exciting.
I think it's a bit early to say that, because when they loaded the Kyoto track, they didn't put the pit boxes layout. So it might be early to say that.
Maybe. We'll have to see what happens during the week. Anyway, thanks, Carolus. Congrats on a good result today, and we hope to see you next week for the finale.
Yeah, thanks for the stream.
Cheers. You're welcome.
Bye.
Carolus Motodutis for Last Lap Motorsports there. The final of our 3 driver interviews post-race. Thank you to the drivers who joined us for an interview. We love it when they come to talk to us, don't we, Eoin?
Absolutely. It makes the broadcast even more special.
Definitely. So, one final reminder that you need to set something in your calendar for next weekend, because on Sunday, the 6th of December, we will wrap up another NDR series, or the championship rounds of the series at least. Round 6 of the NDR TBO Challenge 2020 will be next Sunday, the 6th of December at 3:30 UTC. Sign-ups for the post-season Aston North 6 hour will open today, we hope, and you can sign up for that on the Olympus Speed Forum, so keep your eyes peeled for that. That's happening on Sunday the 20th of December at 2:30. The It'll be a 6-hour team endurance race. You don't have to have been a member of the or a driver in the championship. You can sign up with anybody you want, and it's going to be a blast. Yeah, we can't wait for that. In a couple of weeks' time, as you should know by now, we are hosting the Master Race Car E-Challenge broadcast for 12th of December. Sign-ups open on the Live for Speed forum for that. Please go and check it out. Also coming up on some broadcasts in a couple of weekends' time, the day after MRC's E-Challenge, is the return of the MRC BF1 League Round 2 from Kyoto GP Long. Final announcements before we head off for this evening. If you like what we're doing here on Sim Broadcast, please help us out on our social media. Follow us on YouTube. We have just passed 100 subscribers, so thank you very much to everyone who's clicked on the subscribe button there to grab all of our VODs and things like that. We appreciate your support. You can follow and subscribe to us on Twitch if you fancy, and you can follow us on social media on Facebook and Twitter. Owen, thank you very much for your company during round 5. I hope to see you next week for the finale. It should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm hopeful to make it. Should be a handy time, same as today. So thank you very much as well, Pete. You're doing a great job as always.
Thank you, Owen. Thanks to the New Dimension Racing team, Jonathan Provost, the race director, and all the other stewards and drivers who were helping out running the event today. It was a good one. I really enjoyed this round. Thanks to everyone who tuned in to watch. We know the F1 was a bit of an attention grabber today. Hope Romain Grosjean's doing okay. It looked like a nasty one. But yeah, from all of us at Sim Broadcasts, have a great evening. Good night.